In this video, I'm going to talk about the importance of your locus of control. What is it? How do you know where you lie on the spectrum of internal to external? And how do you become more internally focused? I'm Dr. Tracey Marks, a psychiatrist, and I make mental health education videos. Locus of control refers to the degree to which you feel the things that happen to you are within your control versus being controlled by external circumstances. Another way of putting it is it's a measure of how much you feel a sense of agency over your life. How much of what happens to you is because of your efforts, and how much is because of luck, fate, or circumstances. And this is how it can look. People with a strong internal locus of control, also called internals, are optimistic, expect that there will be ups and downs in life, are open to exploring options and solutions, take responsibility for the things that they have or don't have, and recover more quickly from setbacks. People with a strong external locus of control, also called externals, not to be confused with eternals, are pessimistic about most things, blame other people or things when something goes wrong or when they feel set back, often feel victimized, anxiously think about what-if scenarios, and have trouble recovering from setbacks. Where your focus lies is on a continuum. Some people are strongly internally focused, believing circumstances don't matter, and anyone can do anything if they just work hard enough. People who are strongly external respond very passively to the world and think that nothing they do matters and that they're victims of the whims of the world. And then there are the people who lie somewhere in between these two extremes. Your temperament, personality, and childhood experiences affect your locus. For example, traumatic experiences in childhood can leave you feeling helpless or subject to the whims of other people. You can also learn to rely on fate and things outside of yourself by modeling your caregivers. It's hard for a child to stand alone and say, "I've got this," when you don't have the emotional support of the people around you who themselves may be fretting and saying, "You just never know." Now, the reality is nothing is determined by one thing. Every outcome isn't determined solely by your efforts or solely by external factors. It's a combination of factors. But the idea is that what you believe about your part in your life outcome affects how empowered you feel and how much effort you put forth to achieve a certain result. That's the bottom line here. So here's an example. Let's say I'm prepping to take the SAT or some other certification exam. With an internal locus, I believe I can do well on this test as long as I study hard enough. I may not do as well as I'd like, but I'll try as hard as I can. With an external focus, I may think that no one can do well on this test because it's a setup to weed people out. Only lucky people score well, or people who pay to get their test scores altered. So why bother studying for it at all? I might as well just see what happens. Even though studying doesn't guarantee a good score, the likelihood is that I will do better if I get behind the prep and put some time into it as opposed to doing nothing. If I do nothing and then do poorly as an external locus person, I don't conclude that I did bad because I didn't study. My poor score just reinforces my belief that things just don't work out for me. So it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Your locus affects your behavior, which affects your outcomes. And those outcomes reinforce your locus. So how do you change the prophecy of being a victim of bad luck or bad circumstances? You change your mindset and behavior to get a trickle-down effect of changing outcomes. These different outcomes positively reinforce the idea that your active efforts matter. Here are 4 ways to make your external focus more internal. Number 1, deconstruct the blame process. Recognize when you blame someone or other circumstances for something. Think about what your role was in the situation, and then think about one thing that you could have done differently that may have changed the outcome. It could be as basic as I could have left the house 15 minutes earlier, or I could have started on the project a day earlier. Then file that away as an option to use the next time in a similar situation. Number 2, plan to take risks, even if they're small risks. Since people have different risk thresholds, how you do this is very personal. Think about a situation that makes you uncomfortable. The risk you take could be volunteering for something, or speaking up in a group, asking someone for a favor, or being the first to show up for something. These are all things that take some degree of assertiveness to do, and if you fail or get a no, there's an emotional price to pay of feeling disappointed or insulted. But the more you take these risks, the better you get at the risks. And then when you do get a positive result, it reinforces the concept that you do have some control over whether you get what you want or not. Number 3, welcome failure. Piggybacking on taking risk is becoming comfortable with disappointments and seeing them as a stage or an experience that's one of many in your life. This ties in with a growth mindset over a fixed mindset. With a growth mindset, you see yourself as being able to adapt to circumstances in a way that advances you to a higher place. So a disappointment is a temporary step backwards or a pause in your progress, but it's not a permanent state. With a fixed mindset, you believe that you're stuck with the resources that you have and there's no room for improvement. So a disappointment inflicts permanent damage. Number 4, focus on the things that you can control. It's easy to feel overwhelmed when you spend too much time thinking about all of the factors that are not impacted by your efforts. You can't control acts of nature, the economy, or to bring it even closer to home, you can't control other people. So when you have a situation that involves others, like a relationship problem, even as you recognize what the other person is doing wrong, know that you can't control them. You can only control how you respond to their behavior. If their behavior damages you, focus on how you can limit your contact with them, or limit how vulnerable you allow yourself to be with the person. And these are just examples to illustrate how, in a situation that involves a lot of factors beyond your control, you can focus on the things that you are able to control. Take a look at this video on how to manage worry. I talk about how to separate real-world problems from hypothetical worries. Thanks for watching. See you next time.